Welcome to another episode of Victoria's Lounge from the Radisson Blu Hotel. Now imagine if your body just stopped cooperating. Your motor skills went haywire. Well, that happened to two of my guests when they contracted multiple sclerosis, or MS as it is popularly known. Their lives changed forever, and all of a sudden they needed to create a strong support group, part of which was caregivers and doctors, and you'll meet them all right now as we discuss life with MS. Nelly Mugadi is a university student who discovered she had multiple sclerosis 6 years ago. A series of misdiagnoses, range of treatments, and interruptions to her schooling are part of a journey that Nelly says has not been easy, but strengthened her in the process. Bernard Michobo is a businessman who was first diagnosed with MS in November 2015 after 2 years of numerous medical tests and no indication of what was ailing him. He says the sense of community and support he received from MS Kenya has helped put things into perspective and cope with the condition more positively. Dr. Juzar Hooker is a consulting neurologist at the Aga Khan University Hospital in Nairobi. He also teaches in the clinical neurology component of the internal medicine training program and hopes to help more MS patients take control of their lives. Margaret Mugadi is a retired teacher and business lady and mother as well as caregiver to Nelly. She recounts the challenges of watching her once vibrant daughter struggle with MS, but through love and support from family, find purpose in life once more. Hashtag Victoria's Lounge is how you can chime in to the conversation on social media. We're talking multiple sclerosis. I know it sounds like a really big term, scientific term, and we have Dr. Hooker to break it down for us. But what is it? What is the condition? What does it entail? Are there different kinds of multiple sclerosis?
Yes. Multiple sclerosis is a condition in which there is inflammation in different parts of the nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. And this inflammation occurs at different times. And because it occurs at different times, one gets relapses, so symptoms. So difficulty walking, imbalance, weakness in the legs, difficulty controlling one's bladder, difficulty seeing, for example, with one eye. And these symptoms usually come, develop over a few days, and then get better over a few weeks to months. But as the inflammation continues to progress, as it happens in different parts of the nervous system, one gets damage to the nervous system. And this damage is what results in progression of the disease, disability. So, what one could do before one has difficulty doing, so one could walk without support, now one needs a stick or, eventually perhaps a wheelchair.
And that's the scary thing about this condition is it hits and all of a sudden life changes.
True.
Nelly, if you just take us through your experience in terms of your first encounter with multiple sclerosis.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the year 2008 after being misdiagnosed for another illness which is similar to multiple sclerosis. That's ADEM, acute demyelinating encephalomyelitis. And I was treated for those 6 years, but still I was not feeling well. So we went for a final MRI in a different hospital, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Yes.
So how many, because you said you were treated for one condition for 6 years. Were there several tests before you actually got to what you knew what multiple sclerosis was?
Yes. We went for a CT scan when one of my legs became numb. And it wasn't clear, so we went for an MRI, and they saw lesions at the back of my brain. But the doctor wasn't so certain what the lesions were, so he treated me for tuberculosis of the brain, but I reacted very badly towards the medication. So that was ruled out, and then I was put on steroids, which made me stronger and I was able to walk again.
Right.
And I went back to school. That was in Form 3 last term. But in Form 4 first term, I became unwell again. And this time it was worse because both my legs became numb. Yeah, and I had to go for a lumbar puncture so that they find out what could be wrong. And there was a problem because the doctors on practice tried almost 6 times and they failed.
Wow.
And when the doctor tried once, he got the spinal fluid and they found out it was multiple sclerosis.
And what was it like? Because you were in high school, this is the prime of your life, you're young, you're supposed to be energetic, moving around, and then multiple sclerosis hits. So what was it like?
I thought it was a nightmare. Yeah, and I kept encouraging myself that it's a nightmare, be calm, it will be all over. But as symptoms became, what is it called? Progressive.
Yeah, got worse.
I had to now come to terms with the fact that I'm now unwell. Yeah, because I had to leave school. I was in a boarding school then. I had to leave school and I went home. I was even admitted in hospital. I was given medication and all. And the medication, so I don't know if I can say it didn't help because maybe it did, but I didn't see. But I was still bedridden.
Wow.
Yeah.
So of course you missed school. You of course went back because you're through university. But having to make up that time you lost, what kind of emotional toll did it take on you?
I was depressed in a way, but at least with prayer and supportive family, at least that used to make me feel better. At least I would relax to some point, but at the back of my mind I was kind of depressed because I was just seeing what I was missing out, especially when my friends finished school and I was still sick.
Right. Bernard, I'm sure your story much like our sister here, telling us that, it was time that was stolen. Nellie was telling us time was stolen. She wasn't able to finish school in the time that she thought she would. For you, when multiple sclerosis hit, what was it like? What was going through your life at that time?
Actually, I was just doing business. I think it hit me much later than it hit Nelly.
Yeah.
So I didn't miss out too much. I'd say the saying that people say that you've eaten life with a big spoon, to me that was a lie. I think a forklift is
is more like it.
Is more likely to indicate that I'd enjoyed my life.
Yeah.
It hit me at my prime, yes, because that's when I was working. I was meant to be making money.
Right.
I can help my parents,
Right.
but then that's when it hit me. But I'd gone through quite a number of things,
Right.
and like Nelly, had not missed out on so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, you were the breadwinner, head of household, you're the husband, father, and your body is now hit by this condition that you're still trying to make sense of.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
To say the least.
Because then at that point now you start getting tired in ordinary things.
Yeah.
As the doctor said, where you could walk for half a kilometer, walking 200 meters becomes a problem because you're getting very fatigued. Now, apart from getting fatigued, you can't even walk. You're staggering. Everyone is thinking you're drunk.
Yeah.
You're almost falling. You're losing your balance. So those were some of the challenges.
Right.
So you basically have to learn how to live through them. There are the different stages of grief you go through.
Yes.
Because there's the anger,
course.
there's the denial. Of course, you deny you have this condition. Dr. Google is not the best, because when you read, you think this is the worst condition ever.
Right.
But then eventually you come to a point where you accept it. And when you accept it, you get to learn two things. One, you're much stronger than you think you are. because you're able to go through all these things. And I think it pushes you to the edge, to a point where you have to do a lot of things you were not doing before.
Right.
So you get to discover that you're much stronger than you are. And two, you also get to learn you're loved much more than you think you are.
Wow.
So then, if you have a supportive family, they're able to help you through the different stages you're going through. Yeah.
And what kind of MS do you actually have?
Mine is called the primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Unlike Nellie's that will attack her, mine keeps getting bad gradually. So mine has been gradually getting worse.
Wow. And you've been grappling with this for how long at least?
I was diagnosed in 2015,
Okay.
but then before that, the symptoms started in 2013. So it's been about 4 years.
About 4 years.
It's been about 4 years now,
Wow.
going through it here.
You are extremely brave. And when we come back from the break, we'll be talking to a caregiver, actually Nellie's mom, about her experience and more information on what they do to treat their condition. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Victoria's Lounge. We're talking about multiple sclerosis. Margaret, let me come to you. You've been sitting listening. You have been here firsthand with Nellie and dealing with this condition. What has it been like being a mother? You've been with her side by side and taking care of her. What has your experience been like?
It has not been easy to take care of a child who has been suffering for a long time.
Right.
Because when the disease hit her, it was at her prime time when she was very strong. And so it was not easy emotionally. And whenever she could see the other children going back to school, it was very difficult. But it has helped us to be strong for her. And it has also helped us as a family to be patient and also to be positive all the time.
Yeah.
You have to be positive all the time.
Right.
For her, just for her. Because when you go down, it is worse for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to keep your spirits up for her sake.
Yes.
But how has life changed? So you talked about being patient. And of course, a lot has changed for her physically. You have to be a support to her, not just emotionally, but physically as well. But how has life changed for you?
Life has changed because I have to prioritize my day to for her needs. I have to, to plan my day so that if she wants to go somewhere, I have to take her. And many other things, I have to support her. So I can't have my own plans.
Right.
If she has her plan that I need to help her. Yeah. So that has changed for me. I can't be so free to do what I want.
And she's so blessed to have a mother like you who's so committed to ensuring that she's fine. Dr. Hooker, let's head back into kind of understanding this condition in terms of causes. Are there any known causes?
Not actually, yeah. So there are associations.
Okay.
And but there are no known causes, and one could win a Nobel Prize by discovering the cause.
Yeah.
But essentially, we know that it's associated with latitudes away from the equator.
Okay.
And so being born there, living there the first 15 years of one's life, there's an association with low vitamin D levels. There is also an association with a particular viral infection called Epstein-Barr virus, but these are associations. There is no known cause. So it just happens. We don't completely understand why it happens. There's obviously some genetic element to it, and perhaps some trigger in the environment.
And I guess that's what makes it that much more scarier when you know less about it. You know you have it, but you'd want to know, of course, how can I treat it, for instance? Are there treatments or anything that people can do to deal with it?
True, yeah. So I think first it's important to make a diagnosis. And that is the big problem. So as you've seen from the experiences of our colleagues here and friends here, the diagnosis can be tricky. But once a diagnosis is made, certainly for the relapsing forms of the disease like Nelly has, there are effective treatments now. They're extremely expensive, but they are there. And they range from tablets to injections to what is commonly known as a bone marrow transplant. And these treatments are effective.
Right.
They have their problems, they have their side effects.
Right.
And as I say, they are expensive.
Yeah, effective but expensive. And that's probably the most prohibitive, part of all this is you can't afford. A lot of people can't afford this. I mean, Margaret, we were talking a bit earlier about the cost implications.
Yes.
What do you have to do for Nelly to ensure, because you can't afford everything,
No.
but at least to ensure that she's able to get through each day?
Yes. There are medications, but those medications are quite expensive. You need to have between 50,000 to 500 in a month for treatment.
50,000 and 500,000
Yes,
a month.
in a month for the treatment. So because we couldn't afford that, we put her on supplements.
Okay.
And also diet.
Okay.
And exercises. We take her out, walk.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least to strengthen her and get her moving. But how has that helped Nelly?
Actually, physiotherapy has really helped because after my legs were numb, I couldn't feel my toes. But with physiotherapy, at least I could be asked to do some light exercises, and the more I did them, the more my legs became stronger, and I was able now to walk again. I was taught how to walk again.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can imagine this is something you knew from when you were
Yeah,
like this small, and you're being taught again,
Yeah, at 15.
Wow.
It was scary, you
Wow.
know. And I thought that's the end of my life, because I thought that this is the time I'm meant to be enjoying myself, you know.
Right.
And anyway, I just had to go through the physiotherapy, which helped. And as Mom said, I'm on supplements. Yeah, and I try to avoid the foods that will make me weaker, though avoiding wheat flour, it's not easy. Because
it's in everything.
I'm telling you, it's a hassle, you know, avoiding chapatis.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling that pain too.
Yeah, and cakes and, you know, everything that you love.
Yeah.
But
the sacrifices that you have to make to ensure at least your body is strong.
Yes.
And speaking of that, because the other part of your life, a career, working or doing a business, take us through those kinds of ambitions that I'm sure you do have.
Actually, at the moment, I'm studying counseling psychology.
Wonderful.
And I'm praying and hoping that after I'm through, I will get a good job and I'll help others out there. And myself as well. And
speaking of physiotherapy, we actually went on a little trip with Bernard and went through one of his physiotherapy sessions. Take a look at this before we talk to him.
Welcome, Mr. Bernard. How are you today?
I'm very okay.
Ningependa tena tuende kwa hiki kitanda. Alafu tuweze kuendelea na mengine. Any pain with this one?
No, I'm very okay.
Not even any other feeling that is funny?
No, I can just feel it twisting my thumbs.
Yes.
But then I'm very okay.
That's fine. Any pain as I do that?
No, I'm okay.
That's fine. Push it against me as much as you can. You should be the winner. Pull it up. push it down. Want you to try touch my finger, touch your nose. Try to be faster and you follow it wherever I take it. Open your palms and you try to lift them equally same time, up and down. Don't let any of them fall. Try higher than that. Change the bearing to be this side. Take them up again. Sorry. Don't let any of them fall. We push on until we win. Sorry. Sorry. If he doesn't do the exercises, we expect that his fine movements are more in a problem. He just remains like same. The conditions feel like they get worse. But each time he struggles because he has a coordination problem. The more he struggles with them, the more he makes them fine, the more it becomes easy for him to do his daily activities. Now you will try and have your legs on the box. So each time you walk, you try to be on the next box ahead of you. The cost. It's relatively cheaper here than any other place, I guess, in Kenya. But then, still, even if it were expensive, we look at the risk and the benefit. The benefit of getting it is much more than if he risks not doing the exercise. In case you miss it, no problem, we will get it the next time. Sorry. Fine, you can turn.
When I get there, I'm not coming back. Yeah.
Break it if you can.
What do you mean?
Just break it.
Oh.
Press it hard until it breaks if it can. You can shift the hand. Change it again. We will start from close, when it's close.
Like that.
Increase the distance. Sorry. Each time we will struggle to make sure we hold it so we don't miss it. The better when we keep getting it. He's much better now than before. Each time when we challenge him more, he's really able to do much better each time. And we keep adding the exercises each time he comes, such that he's not likely to forget. Because too many of them he forgets, and it doesn't give any meaning if he's forgetting some. So each time we challenge him with one that is much more harder than the ones he started with. So any other time he's trying to make it easier, then he's better in his condition. This is more challenging, but then you do it more times. Actually, nobody is aware you're doing it, even if you are at your job place.
Yes.
It's fine. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Amazing, Bernard, just to see what you kind of go through. Could you imagine that you had to do all those things just to kind of retrain your body literally to do something that you just come naturally?
No, it had never hit me that I have to do certain simple things. Like Nelly has said, I didn't think I would have to learn how to walk.
Exactly, yeah.
As I've said, because I have a young boy, he's the one I had taught how to walk. Now you can imagine I'm the one who's having to go through this.
Right.
I'm being taught how to walk. Unfortunately, and this will sound a bit bad, but even writing, I cannot write. So even writing is a problem.
Wow.
In my head, I know exactly what I
you
want to write.
do, yeah.
But then putting it down on paper, it will be more of a straight line. Okay, not very straight, but it will be more of a line.
Yeah, yeah.
A chicken writes better.
Oh
So
my.
it will be more of a line. So that's a problem. So some of the basic things, when someone comes and tells you they have to sign a check, and you're thinking, yes, I have the checkbook in the house, all I need to do is sign.
Yeah.
But you simply can't do that.
Wow.
Because then even when you know what you need to do, you won't be able to draw out the check, you won't be able to sign. When someone tells you to go visit them and they live on the 3rd floor,
Right.
in your head you're counting how many stairs are those.
Wow.
There's no lift. So in your head it's hitting you, will I be able to go
Yes.
up those 3 flights of stairs? Then you're thinking, what side is the rail? Will I be able to hold onto the rail? Will there be someone to assist me?
Right.
Because for me, my side that has been affected very much is the left side. So unless I'm holding onto a rail on the right side, it becomes very difficult for me.
And that's
So
the
you're
thing,
thinking
yeah.
of those things.
You have to really consider that much more than the average person in terms of even like simple tasks for you. How would you go about brushing your teeth, getting dressed? You have to literally kind of break those things down.
I've learned to ask myself 2 questions before I do anything. In my head, I'll have known it's possible to do it.
Yeah.
And I'll ask myself, do I need to do this? So if I need to do this, I will ask myself the second question, do I really need to do this? And not just do I really need to do this, but do I really need to do this? So then that's when you decide if you'll go through that.
Yeah.
They're the things you have to do. For me, there are 2 things, anything to do with church, anything to do with my son, I will have to do them.
Right.
But then there are other things that you will actually sit down and think about it. Like now, walking 10 steps, you're thinking, yes, if it's the remote for the TV, you're thinking the remote is there. But I can keep watching what I'm watching. So why do I need to get it?
Wow.
So you learn how to, you avoid doing certain things, things that were very easy before, but you avoid doing them before.
Right.
For me, I'd get tired taking a glass of water. So you're thinking now, this will make me fatigued. But see, to someone else, it's very normal. They're wondering why you're saying it's a problem for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly why you need such a strong support system around you. Welcome back. You're watching Victoria's Lounge. I hope you're being inspired by especially these 2 amazing stories. The things that you don't think about when your body is doing what you expect it to do. Dr. Huka, let me come to you because you're also one of a very small number of neurologists in Kenya, which is a very telling sign in terms of how much more we need to do to address this issue. But in terms of the doctor-to-patient ratio for anyone who's going through any neurological kind of condition, what do we need to see in terms of Kenya?
So we have 13 or 14 neurologists for a country of 45 million.
Wow.
So less than 1 neurologist per 3 million people. And we would need, an acceptable ratio for the World Health Organization is at least 1 neurologist for 100,000 people. Certainly that's what they would want to see in Africa. But then compare that to other African countries. We have countries which have not even a single neurologist. So we are a little better than there,
Right.
but we are very far from where we should be. But there are efforts being made to train more neurologists, and there are efforts currently underway locally to try and set up a local training program, because that obviously is the answer.
Right, right.
All of us have trained overseas for
Yeah,
our
yeah,
neurology
yeah,
training.
yeah.
And I think really training not just neurologists but other personnel, therapists. I think they talked about physical therapy,
Yes, yes.
physical therapists, speech and language therapists, neuropsychologists, psychologists like what you are doing, social workers,
Right.
Nurses with a special interest in multiple sclerosis. I think we need a team, and we need setups, we need centers, both in the public and the private sector, and that's really the way to go for multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, doctor, you mentioned you need a team. I think you need an army.
Yes,
to
yes,
really
very much so.
tackle this.
Yeah.
And for you, Margaret, just talk about the importance of that, because you've had to walk this journey with Nellie in ensuring that she gets the right information, she goes to see the right specialists, goes to the right centers, has the right supplements, if not treatment. That is a lot to carry. But what benefit has that been to you as a caregiver?
I am a different person now. If somebody else is going through something, I pick it first, at least I am able to feel for that particular person.
Yeah.
That's how it has made me different. And I also plan, it has helped me to plan. I don't just do things the way I used to do. I have to plan carefully my day.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Of course, it's that contingency plan that you have to have for Nellie. But Nellie, when it came to, once you found out, of course, that you had multiple sclerosis, I'm sure you did a lot of research in trying to figure out what's going on with my body. How empowering is that? Because people need to know that, understanding and knowing your body that much more than the average person, really.
Actually, I found the information in Google, and with Google, you go much deeper, then you see that people actually lose their lives. So from that, you now start thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to die. But since I'm still here, and I really pray and believe and trust in God, I look at life differently, and I live life as it comes, positively.
Right.
Yeah, I've become more positive, and I just live life, as it comes.
And that's really all you can do at this point. Bernard and Nellie was just mentioning, and you see something like, oh, this leads to death, and you can imagine what toll that takes on you, because also one of the symptoms of MS is depression. So you have to be a bit more aware and heightened to that eventuality. But how do you manage something like depression?
I think we don't have enough information about the condition out there, because as Nellie has said, when you Google it and you try find out all this information, after 4 clicks you're basically in a coffin.
Wow.
and you don't want that. So the right information is not out there. It has helped because we have an association here in Kenya called MS Kenya, and at least you're able to sit down and talk with people going through the same challenges, and they're able to give you advice on the medication that's there. You can be able to ask your doctor about certain things. They're able to give you certain information that you would not get on the internet. At least this is face-to-face. These are people going through it. These are people who know what they're talking about. With the internet, you're not very guaranteed who has posted that.
Exactly.
So it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary. When you learn you have the condition and you try get the information and you learn certain things, depression can attack you. It can attack you. If you don't have a strong family to help you through it, depression can attack you.
And we have about to wrap up now, but I want to at least get from you two and start with you, Nellie. What have you learned since getting MS? Have you become a better person, or is it still a journey?
Actually, I didn't know I was this strong. And I didn't know that with with a great support system and family, friends. At least they got your back, you know. I'm trying to be very positive in everything I do. Yeah.
Positivity, and that's definitely something that I know I'm drawing, and I hope the viewers are drawing from your story. And I'll finish with you, Bernard. What have you learned?
It has made me more positive. Okay, let's start with two things. I hope I've become a better person.
Maybe your wife will tell us better.
It has made me way more positive, because then I look at the sun shining and I appreciate that day, I appreciate everything. And the other thing I've learned is not to judge. I don't judge at all, because you don't know what that person is going through.
Exactly.
It could be someone who has staggered just in front of you, but then you don't know why he's staggering. You don't know what he's going through. So I do not judge at all. The third thing is that it has made me a grateful person. I may not express it every time, but it has made me a grateful person. And I appreciate everything that is done for me. There may be a million ways to say thank you. Like to my younger sister, but not one of them. Not one of them can come close to saying how grateful I am for the support she's given me.
Wonderful. And I'm sure she's having a tear come down her face now listening to that, because that is really touching. It's amazing to see just the amount of gratitude that the two of you have for the people who have corralled around you, literally. But I hope this raises more awareness for people around, and they happen to see someone with a crutch and wondering what's going on. If you have a better understanding, you can actually come and offer a helping hand. And they understand now what this condition is all about. Thank you so much, Dr. Hooker, Margaret, Mama Nelly, Nelly and Bernard. Thank you for sharing your stories, being brave enough to come and inspire others tonight. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching Victoria's Lounge. Keep the conversation going on social media. Let's get the word out there and let people know around us what this is all about, and see what you can do in terms of being an encouragement to someone who has MS. Life is not over for someone who does and is watching. Life is not over. Clearly, Bernard and Nelly have shared their experiences. Life goes on. You make it what you want it to be. Thanks for watching. Thank you to the Radisson Blu Hotel for hosting us. Have a wonderful evening, and let's do this again next week. Your body started to check 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. No, let's do it again.